My name is Michael Van Pender. I'm a trainer here in Southern California, and consider it an honor to work among these animals every day. Most people remember their first love. I remember my first win. Polonius was my first stakes winner.
Polonius tough to get by. Indian Sun, one final surge. Polonius says, no, you won't.
It was the first horse we had ever gone out to the sales and really spent any money on.
The 68th, Will Rogers goes to Polonius.
I kind of looked at Mr. Wright after the race, and he looked at me and said, this is the beginning. And at that particular point, I began to believe. Derby fever absolutely set in with Polonius because the offers do come flooding in, and we were bombarded with him at that point. The highest figure was $1.8 million. As good as that money sounded, the Derby dream trumped it. 3 years later, we were in the winner's circle with Ultimate Eagle, who won his first Grade 1 in the Hollywood Derby.
Ultimate Eagle goes all the way to win. What a weekend for B.J. Wright and Mike Pender. They win the Citation and the Hollywood Derby.
It's one that we'll never forget. We never dreamed of having two horses like that on consecutive days on the same weekend, a Grade 1 and Grade 2. Casey Treat is effectively 3 for 3 on her last 3 races. She's the consummate professional over this turf course. She's gone wire to wire 3 times in a row. She owns the Del Mar turf, and we couldn't be more pleased with her.
But Tasty Treat gonna go all the way. Tasty Treat too good. Tasty Treat won it well.
Boat Trip is a rare bird. Of all the horses in my barn, he is that runway model type. Won 3 in a row at Hollywood Park as a 3-year-old. He went right through his conditions, and it culminated in a win in the Tsunami Slough Stakes.
Boat Trip, the new leader, chips all in. Unusual Heat Wave closes strongly. Boat Trip, Unusual Heat Wave. Boat Trip, yes.
Geronimo has 2 Grade 1s to his credit, multiple Grade 2s, maybe 5 or 6. We've lost count at the barn. He's earned over $1.5 million. He's an iron horse. He's a throwback. He's one of those rare horses that I never dreamed of training.
Meanwhile, Geronimo might be passing them all! Here comes Geronimo from out of the clouds to win the Shoemaker Mile!
I can speak to Geronimo's tenacity, his venerability, his ability to never say die, his need to get up in the morning and go to work. That work ethic that he has is incomparable.
Here's Geronimo down the center of the track, getting a perfect hand ride. So fast has come out of nowhere too, but Geronimo absolutely perfectly ridden by Rafael Bejarano.
Geronimo's been a role model for the barn in many ways. Not only for the other horses, Ernesto, who's been with him for 5 years, puts his heart and soul into grooming him every day, and that sets the bar pretty high. I joke with him and say, you know, wherever my final resting place is going to be someday, make sure to buy a little plot next to me for Geronimo. He's meant that much to me in my career. He's taught me so much about horses, and I owe it all to him. I went to University of California, Santa Barbara. From there I went on to Pepperdine and got my master's there in psychology as well. Somehow I landed here in a position of being a thoroughbred racehorse trainer after a brief stint of teaching. I taught American history, loved teaching. I also had a private practice in Pasadena. Everything kept leading back to the racetrack, and ultimately I said, this is something I have to do. And it was kind of a crazy maneuver, actually, to walk away from a perfectly good paying job and follow my heart and passion and desire, convince my family that this was going to be the right move, even though we were going to be broke for a little while. There is a very good analogy between teaching youngsters at a school and training racehorses. That bond that we as trainers share with our horses is what pulled me away from the corporate world and into the backside. My favorite time of the day is right around feed time, just before, to go in there and converse with them, talk to them. That's the most special moment that I've had with these horses. I live vicariously through the owners' enjoyment and excitement. If they're happy, I'm happy. I really enjoy watching them celebrate, because I know there's a lot of hard work and big money that's gone into it. I'm kind of an isolator by nature. I've tried to let my horses do the talking and haven't really done much politicking. You know, watching horses work out in the morning is more like an art form. It's just a touch, it's a feel, it's an intuition, whatever you want to call it. It just allows me to kind of sit by myself, gather my thoughts, think about particular races, watch the horses train. That gives me my meditative 3 hours of the day to really try to get into the horse's mind and focus on what's important. All kidding aside, pound for pound, we've done more with less than many of the others out there. It's like we're a little guy competing against the George Steinbrenner budgets of the world, of the New York Yankees. And we're on a very low end, kind of lean budget. And when we go out and buy these horses, we're working with the bargain basement buys of the 2-year-old sales and the yearling sales. So we know what we're stacked up against every day that we walk into this barn. And in order to build what we've built here, it couldn't have come without some understanding of where we've come from, and also that hard work and dedication that goes into it day after day.